Hello everyone, and welcome to the present simple passive introduction. In this episode of Grammar Nuggets, what we're going to look at is the difference between active and passive sentences. Now, normally I tell you that you don't really need to know the terms, right? We're generally more interested in your ability to use these tenses than to identify them. But I feel like passives is something that you want to learn, the difference between active and passive, because they have a very specific role, a very important role, and they are something that students often get wrong, okay? When I say active sentence, I'm talking about just a normal sentence. I hit the ball, okay? And when I'm talking about a passive sentence, it's usually when, the object of a sentence, the ball, you don't know who hit it or you don't care. The ball was hit. Now that's the past tense. In this lesson, we're going to look at the present tense. So we have a quick diagram here about how to make a good cup of tea. Now, as an American, frankly, I don't care how to make tea. But apparently it seems pretty important in other places around the world. Let's take a look at the instructions. They tell us that we should, that each step has the same idea written two different ways. And we should focus on and underline the verbs. Let's do that. Okay, hopefully you have something that looks like this. Okay, and you'll notice that with all of our active sentences, which are in the blue, the verb is much shorter. So you have subject, verb, subject, verb, subject, verb. I got a little excited there with my line. Subject, verb. This one has two verbs, can, add. That's a helping verb, and that's the main verb. Stir, am, leave, and want. But every time we go into the passive sentences, we have two verbs. Is boiled, is added, is poured, is removed, is stirred, is ready to be drunk. That's a tricky one down there. We may leave that for now. Is left, is kept. You should focus on that, okay? Because it's pretty important, these two things. So let's look at part B now. We can talk about usage. How are they different? The subject and the object change places. Now, the object is the word that receives the action of the verb. So here, teabag is our object. I add a teabag, but here we've got teabag. Okay, it comes first. So yeah, it does. We don't necessarily have a subject there, but it is. Now, you've always got to have a subject. The verb changes. No, there is a verb. In which sentence is the doer of the action clear? The person who does the action, in the active or the passive? Well, clearly it is the active sentences. And that's the key idea behind the passive voice. Okay? In which sentence is there a helping verb? Usually read. We already talked about that. And in which sentence is there an object? In the blue. That's what we talked about up here. Okay, so if we switch to a different color here and we go purple, we could find add what? Add the water. Remove what? Remove the tea bag. Add what? Milk, lemon, and sugar. Stir what? The tea. Okay, whereas all of that, okay, here you've got milk, lemon, and sugar, and milk, sugar, or lemon becomes the subject. So only our blue sentences have an object. And in which sentence is there a verb in the past participle, or otherwise known as verb 3? Let's go back up here and we'll switch to dark blue. And that's right here. Boiled, added, poured, removed, left. Okay? Left is the past participle. Leave, left, left. Keep, kept, kept. Okay? And stirred down there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our rules. Okay, in active sentences, the structure of the sentence is often subject. What comes after our subject? Verb. With the present simple, there is no helping verb, unless we're asking a question or making a negative. But that's not what we're talking about right here. Okay, the object of the active sentence becomes the subject of the passive sentence. The person or thing that does the action is generally not known or not important. That's why we use the passive. If you need a helping verb, which is some form of the verb to be. Okay, remember that's going to look different up here. You've got is, okay, can be. So there's our form of the verb be, and there's our past participle. Is. Okay, you can also use are as well. Usually, I can't think of many situations where you use am, but it might happen. You also need a main verb, which is in the past participle form, also known as verb 3. This explanation has been a little bit longer, but hopefully it has been somewhat clear. We'll put some rules down after the presentation for you, and of course, you have your practice. Good luck.